This is a tutorial video on the Wheatstone audio board. It's the same audio board in Control Room C as it is in Control Room B. There are 4 main steps that you need to follow when it comes to setting up the audio board. So the first thing you want to do is come over here where it says Program Send and push this one up to this thick gray line. So you want the white line of this slider to go to the thick gray line here between the 10 and 15. So you do like that. That's step 1. Step 2 is turn it on. Alright, so step 3 is going to be like 3A, 3B, and 3C, if you will. So let's start with setting the sources. What we're going to do is you can customize the board any way you want. So I'm going to work on this channel right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the set light for this channel. Now, right up here, you'll see where this knob says source. What I'll do is I'll start rotating this source knob until down here I see K25 because I want server 5 to be my source here instead of the no source. So I'm going to start rotating this knob looking for the sources here, K25. And so when I do, when I find K25, I have to hit the set button a second time to confirm the change. Make sure that's actually what you want to do. So I'm going to start, again, set here, rotate this until I see K25, and then hit set again. Now that source is set as K25. You have to do this for every audio source that you want. So if you have all 4 servers, server 5, server 6, server 7, server 8, you have to do that 4 times, 1 for each server, and again for microphones, music players, and so on. Speaking of the music player, in our case, it's going to be Vox, V-O-X-C. So let's go ahead and actually set this one to Vox C, and we'll get back to that in a minute. So now I have server 5 playing here and Vox C here. Notice, of course, we still don't hear anything. I'm going to address that in the next step. Now with your sources set here, one thing you have to remember is over here by the master audio right there, it says ST1. So that's your reminder that over here, for any source that you have set, up here where it says assign, you have to press ST1. So I'm going to turn on ST1 like that. And that stays on the entire time because these are the only 2 sources I have set. If I had additional sources set, I'd have to turn on ST1 for all of them in order for the sound to go over to the master part of the board. Now with ST1 assigned, I'm going to turn off the ones I don't need. And then let's look at how we get sound coming out of the board now. So notice we still don't hear anything. So if I turn on K25, go ahead and turn that on. As I bring up the slider here for K25,
Student Spotlight,
you'll see the VU meter start to move.
Puts you in touch with the lifestyles and personalities of today's students. And now, here's your host.
To fade it out, I could just go like this and fade out the sound for K25. Now, you notice that when I did that, I want to get the level of the sound as close to the 0 triangle without going over. So we'll do it one more time, and here's what it would look like on the VU.
The program that puts you in touch with the lifestyles and personalities of today's students.
And then I could just turn it off. I'll leave that level set there. So now when the director says, roll server 5 with sound, all I have to do is turn it on because the level for that audio has already been set. So for Vox C, we got to do a couple of setup steps over here on this screen. So this is where there's a power button located right here. Once you bring it up, this is the interface for Vox Pro. If for whatever reason it's not there, you just come to, we can exit out, and we'll close this. This is the icon that you see that you need to double click to open it. Just say OK. We can then choose the account depending on which class you're in. So you can either go 245 or 345. We'll go to 345 and we'll click log in. This is the interface you're greeted with for Vox Pro. Now we have some music already in here for our purposes, so I'm going to come up here where it says Views. And for Views, I want to go to New Hotkeys Window. And what this is going to do is going to give me this window here that has the music that's already been loaded for the class here on a touchscreen. So I can maximize this, and now I have my view set up like this. So now if I turn on Vox C on the audio board, and I can go ahead and bring up the slider for that. Now when I hit any of these buttons here, the audio that's associated with that file will play. Of course, you have to keep your eye on the VU meter. This is an important time to bring up the distinction between music up full versus music under. If you have talent talking, you want to keep the level of the music low, as opposed to if it's just a server or if it's just an open or it's just the music playing, like at the end of the show, once the talent's done talking, you can bring the levels up full. And the levels up full is what I was showing you a moment ago with server 5, just past that triangle on the master. So now if I come over here and I hit News 1, for example, News 1 track plays. If I need it louder, I can push it up here. If I need it lower, I can bring it down here. The beauty with this screen over here, this display, is if I hit this again, it will pause the track and actually fade it out at that point. And it recues it for me so that if I hit this button again, it starts from the beginning. And that's really the gist of the Vox Pro music interface. It's important to keep in mind that there's a lot of ways to not get audio out of this board. So if you skipped any of the steps or missed one of the steps that I mentioned earlier, it's not going to go well for you. So for example, I'll have music playing, but let's say I forgot ST1. You get no sound. Let's say ST1's on, but I forgot to turn on the sound source. You get no sound. Let's say I have both of those on, but I forgot to turn on my master. You get no sound. Or let's say I have my master on, but I forgot to push it up to the dark gray line. You get no sound.